Hello dear student, myself Pranali. I again welcome you all in our video lecture series of database management system. So, from the first module, that is unit number 1, we are covering all the introductory part related to the database management system. In the last video, we covering the topic entity relationship diagrams. Now, how to convert entity relationship diagrams into the relational schema. So, there are some extended topics are remaining. In this video, we are cover the important extended or the special topic regarding database management system. So, let's start. There are some advanced topic term as extended entity relationship diagram features. This extended features of the ER model is termed as specialization, generalization and aggregation. So dear student, we all know that there are types of relationship. We already cover the type of relationship in the introductory part, that is binary relationship, ternary relationship, quaternary relationship and many more. So, suppose there are only two entities are involved in a relationship, that time we term that relationship as a binary relationship. And whenever more than two entities are involved in any relationship, that time it is non-binary relationship set. Most of the time there are binary relationship set, but occasionally when it is more than two entities are get involved in a relationship, as shown in this figure. See here, there are three entities termed as project, student and instructor. So dear student, here project is one entity, instructor is another entity and student is also one entity, and all these three entities are in a relationship named as project underscore guide. Okay, so from this ER diagram, having ternary relationship means instructor and student having one project ID, and all these three, from this relationship we understood that the instructor guides which student for what project. So this is termed as ternary relationship. So dear student, whenever in a binary relationship, suppose there are one to many relationship, that time we specifically define the constraint in binary relationship. But suppose here, see here, suppose there is one entity term as A, okay, one entity term as A. This entity and also another two entities are there, B and C. So another entity term as B and one more entity term as C. So dear student, suppose these all entities are in a relationship, in a single relationship, that time okay. So dear student, when there is a one to many relationship, there is a no problem. But suppose there is an arrow at these two sides, okay. So in binary relationship there is a no problem, but whenever we are working with a non-binary relationship, see here in this example, that time whenever this arrow means many to 1, right? So that time there are multiple definition are come up with these diagrams. Okay, so multiple conclusions are drawn from this single diagram. How many? See here. For example, in ternary relationship R, this relationship term as R. So this R between A, B and C with arrow to B and C. This is arrow at B side also and C side also. So it B and C could mean that first each A entity is associated with a unique entity from B and C. One conclusion drawn from this side is that one case 1 is that each entity in A is get associated with unique entity to B also and to C also. So this is the first conclusion. Second, another conclusion is drawn from this similar diagram is that each pair of entity from A and B take a one pair and get uniquely associated with the C. Vice versa, pair A and C taking together and associated with a B. So dear student, from a single diagram, ternary relationship diagram, if arrow is get placed in two entity, that time there is a confusion occurs or there are multiple conclusion are drawn from a single entity ship diagram. So this is the difficult when you are getting convert into relational model, right? Whenever you want to convert this ER diagram into relational model, that time there may be a lots of confusion in a converting ER diagram to the relational model. Therefore, there is a extended features are necessary at this stage. Okay, dear student. So, whenever there is a binary relationship, no problem. But whenever there is a multiple entities are come up with a single relationship, that time there is a need of extended feature. Because see here, for example, an arrow from the project guide to the instructor indicate each student has at most one guide for the project. If there is a more than one arrow, there are two ways to defining that problem, right? As we discussed earlier. So therefore, each alternative has been used to different formalism, and to avoid the confusion in our database management system, in whole syllabus, we are assumed that there is only one arrow is allowed. Okay, to avoid this confusion. When confusion is comes, whenever the arrow is both side, at B side also and at C side also, that time confusion gets occurs. So to avoid this type of confusion in database management system, it is assumed that there is only one arrow is allowed in a non-binary, in case of non-binary relationship. Okay. So next, so there are some extended features are necessary in terms of non-binary relationship. So first one is specialization. So dear student, we already learned the concept of object oriented programming, right? So this specialization, generalization are associated with some object oriented programming model. So how? So in your specialization, it is a top-down design process. We all know what is mean by top-down. We see with an example. We design a subgrouping within an entity set that are distinguished from the other entity set. So let's take an example. So see here student, suppose there is one entity term as person. This is one entity term as person. Okay. So dear student, we all know that the person, it may be a student or it may be a instructor. So your instructor is belonging to a person entity. So dear student, whenever we are making this arrow with a ended with arrow with ended triangle symbol at the one end, so that time this indicates a specialization in the entity relationship diagram. So specialization means here we are subgrouping, we perform a subgrouping within an entity set that are distinguished from the other entity set. So here your person may be an instructor or your person may be a student. So that time this is term as, this is for student and this is for instructor. So both the student entity and instructor entity are belonging to the person entity. So this is term as subgrouping. So we design a subgrouping and we follow the top down approach. Top down means, dear student, like a inheritance property, your student and instructor are inherited from the person entity. Therefore, all the attribute of the parent class get access in a child class. Right? Therefore, we say that we follow a top-down design pattern in a specialization. Okay. So, subgrouping it get formed. This subgrouping become a lower level entity set. So, this subgrouping means student is one entity set, instructor is one entity set. So, this subgrouping is termed as lower level entity set that has an attribute or participate in a relationship that do not apply to the higher level entity set. So dear student, it is depicted by the triangle component labeled as is A, that is a instructor is a person. Again I repeat, so this is a person, this is triangle, see here, this arrow ended with triangle. This is termed as specialization. This is a one entity instructor. So how can we write this entity relationship in wording? This way. I is a person. So I is a person. This terms as a specialization. Okay. So again I repeat, in a specialization means your instructor inherits all the properties of the person entities and it's having its own attribute also. Okay. So your instructor inherits all the property means access all the properties or attribute. Here properties mean attribute of the person class and also instructor having its own attribute. Right? Okay. So lower level entity set inherits all the attribute and the relationship participates in at the higher level entity set. What is the higher level entity set here? That is person, and lower level entity set is instructor. Okay. So instructor inherits all the attribute and the relationship participated in the higher level entity set, which is to be linked. So in this way, specialization example, see here again there is one person class having subgrouping term as employee and the student. In employee also there are subgrouping instructor and secretary. Okay. So this is term as specialization and it follows top to down approach. Right. So dear student, here there may be two problems, that is overlapping and disjoint. So it having total and partial participation. So what is total and partial participation? We will see in the next slide after generalization concept. See here, for the overlapping means for employee and student, we are taking the attribute from the person class. So there is a employee and student having overlapping attributes in a employee and student. But this your instructor and secretary having disjoint means what? It having its own property. So this instructor and secretary follows this path and he follows this path because he is not having any attribute of the student entity. Therefore we say that instructor and secretary are performing disjoint here because he is having only the inherits the property of employee and person class. Okay, here there is a no another entity present here in parallel to person. Therefore we say that he perform overlapping, employee and student performing the overlapping and instructor and secretary performing the disjoint. So there are some problems in a specialization also. We will see how we convert this specialization into a relational model. So there are two methods to convert the specialization entity relationship model into the relational model. So dear student, first from a schema for the higher level entity, we write a schema as it is. This is higher level entity, person. So person having attribute ID, name, city and right? City. So person is the schema having these four attribute. This is the first way to convert a specialization into a relational schema. So another entity is your student. So for student entity, dear student having the ID and its own attribute. So list student attributes are primary key of the parent entity, that is ID, and its own attribute, that is total credit, is the one attribute for the student. Now employee, under the employee, see here, employee having salary as its own attribute and ID as a primary key for the parent attribute. Okay, so dear student, this is having one drawback, such as for getting the information about the employee, I need to travels two schemas. Suppose I want a employee information from this schema or from this database. That time I must search all the detailed information of the employee from two schemas. So this is the one drawback from this method. Whenever I only include the primary key of the parent entity into the subgrouping. Okay, so this is the one drawback, that getting the information about the employee required to access two relation, that is person also and employee also. So the one corresponding to the low level schema and one corresponding to the high level schema, that is means low level schema is employee and high level schema is person. So to getting the information about the employee, you must travel two schemas. This is one drawback of this method. To overcome this drawback, this is another method how we convert a specialization into a relational schema. In this method, we inherit all the attributes, means person having the attribute ID, name, street and city, and student having that attribute all the attribute of the parent class and its own attribute. So ID, name, street, city and total credit. Another for employee schema, again all the attribute of your parent class and having its own attribute, that is ID, name, street, city and salary. But dear student, there is also one drawback in this case, that is name, street, city may be stored redundantly for the people who are both student and employee, right? Because there is maybe a case that is some employee is a student of that university, so that time a multiple same data is get stored at a multiple location, right? So this is cause a redundancy problem, and there is a anomalies for the updation anomaly, insertion anomaly for the updation purpose also there is a need to change the same data at a multiple location. So this is also another drawback in this method too, whenever we convert a specialization into a ER diagram. Okay, so next topic is your generalization. So dear student, in a specialization we are cover specialization is a top to down approach, but generalization is bottom up designing process. Means it is just inverse of your specialization. In your person is a student or employee, right? That time student and employee are the special case for the person. Here in generalization, person is a general case for student and employee. So this is term as generalization. Here we are moving toward bottom to up to achieve the generalization. So combining a number of entity set, let's take an example, employee, student are the two entity set. We combine that two entity set, we find out the common attribute and form a one person entity as a generalized entity. Okay, so there are shared the same feature into the higher level entity. So specialization and generalization are simple inversion of each other. They are represented in ER diagram in a same way also. That is the term specialization are and generalization are used interchangeably. Okay, so see in a same diagram here, it is generalization also shows and specialization also shows. For employee and student are the special entities of the person class, so we achieve the specialization, and person is a general entity for employee and student, so it is a generalization. Okay, so these two concepts are totally interchanged to each other. Now dear student, we are moving toward the total and partial participation. So specify whether or not an entity in a higher level entity set must belonging to at least one of the lower entity set within a generalization. So dear student, whenever we are not indicating in any participation, that time default participation is partial. Okay, so we whenever we are not in a total participation, we are at a partial participation side. So what is total participation? So dear student, an entity must belonging to one of the lower level entity set, or entity need not belonging to one of the lower level entity set is partial. So what see here, so dear student, the student generalization is total, means what, all the student entity must have a either graduate or undergraduate. Suppose let's take one example. Suppose let's take an example, one entity having student, okay, term as student entity. So this student entity having specialization in two subgroups, term as undergraduate and postgraduate. Okay, so dear students, see here, if you are the student of university, you must having a UG student or you must have as a PG student. Okay, means every student belonging to the UG entity or in a PG entity, right? But all the students, that is suppose there is 100 student, so suppose for the UG there are 70 student, so remaining 30 student must belonging to PG section, isn't it? So all the total of this 70 plus 30 must match with the total number of student. So this type of example is termed as total participation. Okay, so all the student entity must have been either graduate or undergraduate, because the higher level entity sets arrive at through generalization is generally composed of only those entity in the lower level entity set. The completeness constraint for the generalized higher level entity set is usually a total. Then So partial. In a partial, we can specify the total generalization by adding the keyword total. If your generalization is total, that time just add total word at the arrow side. Okay, just add a total word here. So if total word is not there, that time total word in the diagram and drawing the dashed line from the keyword to the corresponding hollow arrow spread which is applied for the total generalization. That means just add a dotted line and a term is at as a total in your ER diagram. If this line is not there, that time it specify a partial generalization. Okay. Done. So this is the two type of participation. See here. Now we are moving toward the next concept, aggregation. So consider again ternary relationship as a project guide, which we saw earlier. That is, this is one project entity, another instructor entity, and student entity. All these three entities are in a relationship named as project guide in the last case. But dear student, suppose we want to record the evaluation of the student by the guide. So for the evaluating the evaluation of the student, we required an instructor also, we required a student detail also, and we required a respective project also, right? So dear student, that time all these three entity are again get bind with another new relationship, that is eval.for, and we having evaluation as a new entity for the evaluation purpose. But this evaluation entity are get formed with a relationship with other three entity or depend upon the relationship with the other three entity, that is instructor, project, student. That time dear student, it is a very difficult to convert this ER diagram into the relational model, because there is a lots of overlapping problems are occur. Okay, why? Again I repeat, this project guide having the relationship in between instructor, project and student, and another relationship evaluation for is in between instruction, project and student. So this is the similar, but we cannot merge this relationship. Why? Because dear student, there may be a certain cases that evaluation is not done yet. So for maintaining this record, you must have a separate relationship than evaluation of underscore for that is project underscore guide. This relationship you must maintain separately, because there may be some group for this evaluation is done and some groups are remaining. So the record for the remaining group we are getting from this project guide, and evaluation from means we are done with the evaluation, right? So these two relation must have a separate value, but they are binding with the same entity set. That time dear student, there is a overlapping problem. To avoid this redundancy and overlapping problem, we are moving toward the one extended feature, that is aggregation. So relationship set eval for and project guide represent the overlapping information. So every evaluation for relationship corresponding to the project guide relationship. However, some project guide relationship may not corresponding to evaluation for relationship. So we cannot discard the project guide relationship as we already discussed. So eliminate this reduction. There are some steps. Treat the relationship as an abstract entity. Allow the relationship between the relationship. This is again new concept, dear students. See, we allow a new concept, that is relationship between the relationships. So there are two relationship, project underscore guide and evaluation underscore. So we maintain a abstract entity and we make a relationship between the relationship. So abstraction of the relationship into the new entity. So how we perform aggregation? See. So dear student, For the eliminating the redundancy via aggregation without introducing the redundancy, the following diagram represent student is guided by a particular instructor. This student is guided by a particular instructor for a particular project. So we make this all as a one entity. These three entity and this project guide relationship, we make it as an abstract entity. And this is our evaluation entity, and we make a relationship evaluation for treating this abstract entity and this evaluation entity. So a student instructor project combination may be associated via evaluation for with a evaluation entity. Okay, so this term as a aggregation. So how aggregation get converted into the relational schema? Let's see. To represent the aggregation, create a schema containing primary key of the aggregated relationship, the primary key of the associated entity set, and any descriptive entity. Okay, so dear student, for this we make a S underscore ID, I underscore ID, and project underscore ID. All the primary key of this three entity, that is abstract entity, come up in a evaluation for, and entity for the evaluation are evaluation underscore ID. So we make one relation. See here, we make one evaluation for schema for S underscore ID, primary key of the student entity, project underscore ID, primary key of the project entity, I underscore ID is the primary key of the instructor entity, and evaluation underscore ID is the primary key of the associated entity set. Okay, so we make the schema project guide is a redundant. The schema project guide is a redundant. So dear student, in this way we make a aggregate relationship between abstract entity and one associated entity. We form a new relationship. Okay. This is abstract entity and this is your associated entity. Okay. This is your new relationship. So aggregation is performing in this way, and how we convert that aggregation relation in this by using this schema. Okay. So dear student, in this way we are sum up with some extended feature like specialization, generalization, and aggregation, specially used for the non-binary relationship. And we already covered all the symbols related to the ER diagram. So E is for rectangle symbol used for the entity set, R is the relationship set, weak entity set is denoted by the double rectangle or double diamond, and this is the total participation. This two arrow is denoted as a total participation. Whenever there is a no arrow means many to many relationship, one side arrow and one side there is a no arrow, that means many to one relationship. Again this is a one to one relationship. This is a total participation on generalization. Alright, this total participation is denoted by the dotted symbol with a total keyword. If this dotted symbol and total keyword is not there, that time this is a partial relationship. So this is a partial generalization or disjoint generalization, and this is the total generalization, right? And generalization or specialization is denoted by this arrow triangle at the arrow ended. Okay, so is a generalization or is a specialization. So this type of symbols are used in a ER diagram. So this is a generalization, is a total generalization is denoted by double line also, or dotted line with indicating a total word on that dotted line. So in this way, this is the some alternative ER notation, extended notation. Many to many relationship, in some reference book it is denoted by the star, right? If there is a no star, that also indicate, but there is a no arrow, means that also indicate many to many relationship. Again, in some books they are given in this way, this symbol. See, so this symbol is also denoted as a for the many relationship. Suppose there is a no arrow, but they indicate a number 1 on this arrow side. This is also one to one relationship. Okay, and sometimes they are just denoting r with no this symbol. This is also termed as one to one relationship. Okay, this symbol is for many relationship, right? Star is also for many relationship. One is for one relationship. Okay, total participation is denoted by double line. Okay, if there is a this round circle is ended with circle at the end, so this is also termed as total participation at this entity side. Okay, so these are the some alternative notation for the cardinality constant. Okay, dear student, so from the last 3 to 4 videos we are on the ER diagram model concept. From the third, fourth, fifth video, this is our sixth video on this topic. So all these are come up under the ER diagram. We see how to draw a ER diagram. We already covered how we convert a ER diagram into the relational model. So for today we stop here. In next video we are come up with a new topic. So thank you for your patience listening.